Hello friends! Today we're going to be talking about Piet Mondrian. Piet Mondrian was born in Amersfoort, the Netherlands in 1872. When Mondrian was a little boy, he really loved nature, and so he started out his artistic life painting landscapes and other things to do with nature. In 1911, Mondrian moved to Paris, France. At the time, Paris was an artistic hub of innovation. In Paris, he immersed himself in avant-garde circles. Mondrian was influenced by the Cubist and Futurist artists. Inspired by Cubism, Mondrian started to move away from traditional realistic landscapes and art. Mondrian started to abandon representational art. That means like realistic stuff. And he started to try to simplify things, distill them down into their most basic simple forms. This sounds very familiar because other artists that we've talked about in my videos did a similar thing, especially Picasso. Primary colors are red, yellow, and blue. And he was known for black lines, black horizontal, like the horizon, and vertical, like a vine grows vertically up and down. And he would put blocks of red, yellow, and blue and leave some space white. In the 1920s, Mondrian co-founded the distill movement. What that means is a group of artists and architects decided to dedicate themselves to visual harmony, abstraction, and simplicity. They wanted to create a new utopian or very peaceful society without the constraints of tradition. Very interesting. Mondrian believed that there was a universal order and connection between a person's soul and nature and art. When World War II broke out, Piet Mondrian moved to New York City. In New York City, he was really excited about all the architecture, the big, tall buildings, super vertical lines, right? Mondrian loved the grid-like system of New York City. In 1944, Piet Mondrian passed away, but he left a pretty significant legacy. As soon as you see his paintings, you think, that's Piet Mondrian. I know who that is. And now for some inspiration. Mondrian said, "To move the picture into our surroundings and give it real existence has been my ideal since I came to abstract painting. I think that the destructive element is too much neglected in art." Let us note that art, even on an abstract level, has never been confined to idea. Art has always been the realized expression of equilibrium. For the art project, what we're gonna do is we're gonna get out just a blank piece of paper, white piece of paper, and we used little teeny black tape, like really skinny black tape. You could also use a Sharpie to go over this or to create your grid, whatever you want, but make some black lines. And so you're gonna take your paper and you're gonna either put out the tape or draw your Sharpie. You can take a ruler and make sure they're very straight. You need vertical and horizontal lines. Then you're gonna take red, yellow, and blue, and you're just going to paint one of these boxes or rectangles some of these colors. You can do some yellows in different areas mixed in with reds and maybe a single blue one or more than that, whatever you want, but make sure to keep some white as well. At the end of the project, you could take the tape off and see the white lines that are left to create a white grid if you want, or you can keep your black lines on there, or if you colored over your Sharpie a little too much, you could go over it again with your Sharpie with your ruler just to make it crisp and clear. So now I'll show you what my family did. We had an interesting thing with this tape. Some of the tape, I thought it would just curl around and you could just lay it in the back like this. But it does not love to stay that way. So I'm gonna try and lay the tape down a little bit better. It's kind of interesting tape. If the tape doesn't lay down, just cut it off. So I'm gonna cut off a piece here that just keeps popping up. And another one that just keeps popping up. It's kind of interesting. I was excited about the tape, but it doesn't stick very well, which is a little frustrating. Okay, so I have just a few, because they're hard to, they're different and they're interesting, and everyone's grid was a little bit different. There were some skinnier parts and some wider parts, and they created bigger rectangles and smaller, teeny little ones, and it was fun to see everybody's variations. This is another one with the wonky tape going over. I'm gonna have to cut all of those off. But I think that's fun. And everyone's can be different. My littlest son didn't put his tape down super well, so it's kind of popping up. And he didn't paint his all the way to the edges, but I think he did a great job for being as young as he is. And I am gonna have to go through and clip these off. I did have one son, and he decided he really didn't want the black tape on there. And so I'm gonna carefully take this off and we'll just see what it looks like. So look at it first with the tape on it, with the black. It's pretty cool. But now I'm gonna carefully take this tape off. I don't know if you can see. Carefully take it off for him. It's actually kind of awesome to take it off. It won't let go. It's just crazy. Okay, almost done. Two at a time. Okay, I think actually this turned out, this is one of my favorite ones. Okay, look closely. Look at what was left behind when they took the tape off. And so he has like a cool painted look, and then these lines come out that make it, there's a little bit of pattern in here, a little bit of repetition. There's a stark line here, but then there are other things that are just a little bled into each of them. So it's not quite as cut and dry as Piet Mondrian's art, but I think this is awesome. Art principle of the day. Today we're talking about unity. Unity in a composition means you have different elements. That means the things inside your painting. So if you had a tree and a rock and a barn, those are all your elements in the painting, okay? And so what it is using different principles, different things to make all of your elements work together. So unity in art could be placing objects in a group together. So maybe a group of trees together, and then another group of trees, and then another group of trees. That could be placing elements together. It could be figures in a group. Maybe you have a grassy field and the grass is all waving more or less to one side, with a few here and there poking up a different way, but you could create unity with the grass going in one way, and you can almost feel the movement of the wind blowing it over. If you look at this painting by Van Gogh, it's called Starry Night over the Rhone. Van Gogh has used repetition in the textured impasto brush strokes. Impasto means really thick paint. Okay, you can see all of his brush strokes and they all go about the same direction. That's one way to create unity. And because he does those same thick strokes all the way through the painting, suddenly it makes this starry sky and the river appear similar, like it's part of the same picture because those same strokes and the same thickness are throughout the whole painting. Another way you can create unity is limiting your palette. Maybe it's all red and yellow. Bunches of reds and yellows, but it all kind of creates a unity. In lots of Van Gogh's paintings, he uses very few colors, some blues and some yellows, like Starry, Starry Night. It's mostly blues, a little bit of green here and there, but yellows, blues and yellows. So you can use line, the direction of things, or the type of line, like maybe you just do like little dotted lines. In pointillism, they just use little dots the whole way through, and it creates a texture that is uniform. So line, texture, and color all help you create unity. Thank you for visiting Homeschool Art and learning about Piet Mondrian. I hope you come back and tell your friends and like and subscribe for more homeschool art. Bye!